Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business List, your source for stories inside the party across the country and around the world. We are LP Alliance and Intercaucus Coalition, rebuilding the Libertarian Party and revolutionizing the liberty movement. My name is Amanda Griffiths. I'm joined by Rose Leatherman. I'm joined by Jake Porter. I'm not joined by Kyle Davis. He is just here. Everyone, how are you?
Because apparently the Mises Caucus has killed me for telling the truth.
No, I directed you to be here. Because if people don't know, I just direct Kyle to do things. Kyle, tell everyone that I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys knew what would happen if we had disobeyed commands.
That's right. You will not defy my orders.
Directs all of LP Alliance. We're not actually an Intercaucus Coalition. We're a cult of Amanda.
Just the Amanda Caucus, and no one knows. They're on my unholy of the army of the night, and I love them. All right, everyone, how are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah. Freshly showered.
Freshly showered? I can tell because your hair is shiny. It's good.
It's also like brown, which is not the normal color of my hair.
It is not. Jake, the headphones working for you?
Finally they are.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So we have things to get to. I think I want to start off with what has just become the censure showdown of the century.
Oh, good Lord.
On the LNC. So this began with LNC chair Stephen Nikela moving to censure Austin Martin, who is the chair of LP Hawaii, as well as the regional alternate, as well as, and then we had Andrew Chatterton fire back with a motion to censure Stephen Nikela for repeated policy manual violations. Has Austin Martin jumped in with another censure yet? I'm trying to keep up, and I haven't been able to.
I don't think so, but I just imagine that everyone on the LNC right now is just like, censor me, daddy!
Yes. It's a little bit, it's a censure war, right? So it's like, I've been so bad. I've been so bad. You need to censure me. And we can work it out with markers. No. But we do have a censure showdown. So here's how I feel about
There's some kind of censural control.
That's right. And so that everyone knows, there's a difference between censoring and censuring, which has needed to be explained to some people. So censoring is when you block out speech, right? And you don't allow someone to do so. Censure is disapproval. Like that's censorship. Can people hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And censuring
that will be punished.
Me condemning Kyle for not following my directions. So these are two different things. I, generally speaking, find censure to be a waste of time unless it is a hugely optical concern, right? So I can see the argument. I go back and forth. I can see the argument for censuring LP New Hampshire, for instance, for various things. Censuring various members on the LNC just because they did something that you don't like, I don't see the point of it. If there has been a policy violation, then there should be an actual punishment. Wagging your finger is not it. Although Kyle seems to
think it doesn't really, all it really does is say, hey, we're really mad at you. It doesn't actually have any long-term effects. In theory, it should affect your ability to be reelected, but if the other people think that it wasn't a fair censure, they're not going to care.
Right.
It's like old, angry British man parliament. Like, I don't like what you're doing over there. It's just like, there's nothing of like teeth. There's no teeth to it. There's nothing of note. It's just people being like, I don't like what you're doing. Get off my lawn.
It's just
cane waving. Old man.
Cane waving. And like personally, I don't like either censure. I don't like the substance of either censure because it's basically, you violated the policy manual. No, you violated the policy manual. No, you did. And it's very much gamesmanship. It's very much just an attempt to take out personal grudges. It seems dilatory to me, but I'm just one person. So these censure motions, do they do anything? Will they do anything? Why should we care?
Sarah's got a pretty good point here of what is Stephen's parliamentary basis. There's a couple things that you can make an argument with or against Austin for. Some of the things that were talked about in executive session, Austin had brought out in the public list. And then you can make the argument that Austin interrupted a meeting during when he was acting representative for the meeting to reaffirm past decisions about the reports, etc. And then there's claims about like list behavior, etc.
I believe I
yeah,
wrote
accusing people of accusing people, I think, of fraud when he doesn't actually have anything to back those claims.
Right.
Like, for me, I think you should be able to accuse someone of fraud. I don't know. To me, it seems very silly.
Amanda's fraudulent.
I am
She's
fraudulent. What I
But
don't
she wants
like,
us to be allowed to accuse her of this, though.
Yes, exactly. I don't like this notion that because you said mean things about the LNC, which is like, it's in the policy manual. You're not supposed to besmirch the good name of the LNC. But sometimes the LNC's good name needs besmirching. And I don't care necessarily who's doing it. I don't necessarily agree with what Austin Martin is saying, but I certainly think that you should have the right to criticize and vehemently what the LNC is doing and make claims, and make wild accusations, honestly. And
I mean, it increases the entertainment factor for those of us who follow it. So there's that. Well, okay, it wouldn't bother me so much, except the chair has been very selective about who he'll call out and who he'll try to censure for inappropriate behavior,
Right.
And bullying tactics, basically, on the public list. And I think that's a lot of people's biggest issue.
right,
And the previous chair had the same problem.
she did,
And that was an issue there that, people felt the same way.
yeah.
When's the last chair that wasn't?
That's the issue. Is it?
They've all got their biases, which, yeah, I mean, that's why you need representation from different factions of the party so that you don't have so much bias in decision making.
It's Meredith does point out that it's the first step in a disciplinary process now, which is true. Like, you have to censure before anything else. But like, what are you gonna do to an alt?
Well, that's right. And they'll just put him back, my thing is, I'm glad every other problem in the Libertarian Party has been resolved, right?
Yes.
Membership is through the roof. Fundraising is up. We're running a lot of candidates next year, right? Ballot access issues has all been resolved.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but they're talking about censoring people on there.
Yeah.
The
Well, now we can get to
It is so
the-
tiresome.
Like,
Yeah.
there's certainly an argument to be made, right? That if like Austin's outbursts are getting in the way of doing business, etc., that something's got to be done so that you can get business done. That's pretty much the whole thing, right? And so we'll see how the LNC decides to take this.
The thing is that I don't think there is enough debate, generally speaking, on these motions, particularly the SIC motions. I agree with the substance of the SIC report. I have no issue with it, but it should have been debated on principle. And so there was, and both sides were at fault here, as though there are only two, but the parties that wanted to go through with the voting and the parties that didn't were both at fault, because the Mises faction on the LNC attempted to filibuster, and that cut into debate time. Personally, I don't think we should have timed items. It should be someone proposes calling the question or makes a motion to call the question. I know people are going to jump in for that.
Right.
But-
it takes more time for them usually to motion to extend time and then debate about it and then vote on it than it would just take to not have a time limit.
Yeah. I feel similarly. So there's that piece. And then it should have been debated anyhow. But it did not help to see all of the filibustering. So this goes on, and censuring to me should only be for contravening the party platform blatantly, egregiously, and or the statement of principles, or blatant disregard for duties of office, negligence, that sort of thing. saying something nasty about anyone on the LNC is not nice, but it's also not grounds for censure.
You know, it reminds me when the Ethics Committee in the U.S. Congress expelled Jim Traficant, a former congressman, for ethics violations. And he rightfully pointed out that there are no ethics in politics. There are no ethics in Congress. There shouldn't be an ethics committee. They're all unethical. And he pointed that out, and he wasn't entirely wrong. If we go back to this censure, it'll just start to be one side censures the other side's, and it's just, it never ends.
Censures for everyone.
Yeah, and then we can, get elected at the next convention. That way we can pass these motions against you. And I just don't. I get why we occasionally may need them, but I don't know that it's really going to solve the problems. And the fact is that if people keep picking these as their representatives, we're in bigger trouble than any censure is going to save us from.
Right. Any bets on which censures, if any, will pass? We just have a stalemate. Is it? I expect it will be completely party line. Although some folks might not vote for either censure. I'm not sure.
Meredith just said she won't.
There you go. Meredith's a swing voter. Yeah, can you censure yourself? That's an interesting question. Can you technically censure yourself, Meredith?
I wish the entire LNC would censure themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just get it all out of the way. Everyone writes a censure. You pull a name out of a hat, and whatever name you pulled is the person that you censure. It doesn't matter which name. You just got to censure someone.
I think they could do the entire board. I think they could just say this board is incompetent, unprofessional, and not every member is going to apply to it, but just in general. And I think most libertarians will agree, no matter what side they're on.
How about just having proper recall provisions so that the membership does have a say and can recall officers if they're not properly representing the party?
Right. You can also just censure Mad Libs. You can just say, for adjective conduct on the noun when he verbed. I think we could sell a censure Mad Lib book.
JJ makes a good point in there that Josh Smith was censored. I'm aware of that, but Mark Jenowicz was as well. I'm not familiar with that one. I don't recall that one. I'm curious what that one was for. Does anyone remember?
I do not right off.
So it's happened in the previous committee that there were people, and of course Karen Ann Harlos has been removed several times.
Hey.
It's gonna just be a tradition, I think. Every new iteration of the
bi-monthly censure, yeah.
I got to think for this. There are 36 and a half weeks until Reno. My God, Grand Rapids. My brain. I've been talking to too many people about the past couple days. So every 2 weeks, draw a name out of the hat. Boom. That person's censured until Grand Rapids.
I love it.
And you just keep going until the entire board's censured. Problem solved.
I think you should be able to donate money to censure someone on the board. That's actually, it's a perfect fund. I'm trying to help the LNC. Perfect fundraising opportunity. You just donate money and say that someone needs to be censured. And then depending on your, every $100 is one vote. Someone has to vote for the censure. So you can just buy a censure at this point.
But you need to keep people on who people don't like as well, who are no longer on the board. Have a fucking thing in there for Angela. If people want to complain about Adrian still, have a thing for Adrian.
We would make so much money off.
Nick Sarwark.
We would make so much money from the Mises Caucus because they'd all be sending money to censure Sarwark.
That's the thing.
As you know, he's still secretly controlling every non-Mises faction of the party. We're all secretly taking our instructions from him.
That's right. Yeah,
we are all Sarwark.
The entire meeting will just be reading off a censure of whatever person we've selected for that month. I think it's good fundraising. I think Stephen Nikela should take this into consideration. Evan McMahon is always good with fundraising ideas. I'm sure he'll be proposing this at the next meeting. It's all good. Reverse indulgences. Yes, Ken. I like that.
True.
Have we censured this topic to death? Any final thoughts?
Censure the censures.
Yep.
I think that's the LPA position, right? We censure the censures.
I mean, I think the LPA position, I propose that that everyone in LPA just be censured for shits and or giggles. I think that got unanimous support. So yeah, dunk tank. Censure is a dunk tank. We have switching now to national news story. So Donald Trump is considering declaring a national housing emergency ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Everyone knows national emergency just means excuse to expand government powers. And so I am holding my breath, trying to figure out what specifically this housing emergency would entail. Sorry.
We all know what it would entail.
Well, we don't know the precise flavor. Like, are they going to be tiny homes? Are they going to be like? Is it going?
It's going to be a reason to deport people more.
No. It could be corporate subsidies to like Trump's friends, or it could be just the government comes in and blatantly builds housing, or it could be handouts to people who say that they need. It could take a lot of different forms. So I'm excited. It's like a grab bag. You don't know what you're going to get.
A grab bag of state
maybe he could use eminent domain to get rid of the house.
Yes. Well,
get rid of the bad houses and build better houses.
Well, what they could do is stop
build houses better.
Stop devaluing the currency. Eliminate some of these ridiculous regulations that make it impossible to build new homes. Oh, and stop propping up these giant mega corporations that are buying up entire cities, companies like BlackRock and Blackstone, okay, and driving up the price of housing. That is what would be the logical thing to do. Of course, that's not really going to happen. This just seems like a way for the state to become basically the biggest landlord in the country. We'll have state-owned housing, which will then be rented out to people.
Yeah, Ken points out national emergency made worse with tariffs. That's the thing, is you could have this could be a way to get revenue from the tariffs anyhow. If you're forcing someone to buy housing that's built by some company that is paying some American steel company, that again, it's central planning all the way down. It's a command economy all the way down. We're just using a few more words for it.
You're thinking too small. FEMA camps for the homeless, people we don't like anymore, and the housing crisis is solved. Donald Trump, he's got these plans.
Another thing that has been a concern for a while, because that even starting back during COVID, people were genuinely worried that with no income because their businesses were shut down or they were laid off from their jobs or their company went under during COVID because of the lockdowns, that they would be unable to pay their mortgage and would lose their homes. There was genuine concern that there was going to be a program offered by the state where they would offer to basically step in and pay off your debt, but within the fine print it would say that the state now owned your house and technically you were just renting it from them. And again, this just seems like another means by which the government could implement something like that. Oh, you can't afford to stay in your house? Well, we'll help you stay in it. You just have to agree to sign over the ownership rights to us, but we'll continue to let you live there until,
of course, bank that's too big to fail. Look at that. It's a bank bailout and a housing solution all in one, guys. I'm excited for it.
There are so many ways that this could. There are so many different forms that this could take, and all of them are probably very bad.
Bill Ryan points out that in Trump's Russia, huge Soviet housing blocks will be built by the oligarchs. And if people weren't paying attention when that comment came across, Amanda immediately smiled because it just meant a return to brutalism. She loves brutalism.
I like brutalism. I know that Donald Trump doesn't though. Like you see the gold Sharpies, right? That's not brutalist.
He's
got
to build brutalist housing and then gold leaf the entire thing.
I miss Yakov too, Sarah. I don't know. I don't think we're referring to the same Yakov, but it's fine, and we don't have to. Man, that man had a good thing going, and then tuberculosis is terrible. Anyway, it was probably tuberculosis. Do we? I don't think we're done with this topic, but I think this is a perfect transition to the story in Ukraine.
Go for it.
Okay. So speaking of Trump being like a Russian, and Russians. So there was a Ukrainian politician, Andrei Parubi, that was shot dead this past week. So this is the former speaker of the Ukrainian parliament who played a key role in the Euromaidan movement, which was basically that followed the Yanukovych refusal to associate with the EU. Parubi coordinated the self-defense teams of protesters that guarded that tent camp. And so he was shot. This comes from BBC. Unverified footage purportedly of the shooting appears to show a gunman dressed as a courier approaching Parubi on the street and holding up a weapon as he walks behind him before fleeing. A manhunt is now underway for the suspect. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described Saturday's attack as a terrible murder and offered condolences to Parubi's family. And apparently, yes, this man was disguised once again as a courier and had an e-bike. So that's exciting. This continues to go on. It's not enough just to bomb cities and civilians. We have to assassinate Ukrainian politicians as well. Yeah, there's a bit of an age difference, Phil. And I'll thank you not to discuss my romantic life on screen.
As if you have problems with age differences.
The Yakov I was talking about is very, very dead.
Yeah, and you said you would eat dead Leon Trotsky.
I did
as
not
a cracker.
say. Okay. Now we have to go into it because that out of context sounds terrible and sounds like exactly the wrong
She wants to dig up Leon Trotsky's body,
story. No,
turn him into a cookie, and eat the cookie.
That's not what happened. Okay. I hate that you derailed us, Kyle. If I could direct you, I would direct you to shut up. Briefly, everyone. Evidently, this is a rumor.
Tonight, I'm being played by Rose, who, as soon as Amanda started talking, turned off her camera.
It probably, if I were Rose, I'd do the same. Probably never happened, but there was a group of anarchists that claimed to have dug up the ashes of Leon Trotsky and made biscuits out of them. Now, this was reported by The Sun, I believe. So biscuits here means cookies. So there's a group of anarchists that I think it was in like 2006 claimed that they dug up Leon Trotsky's remains and made biscuits, thus overlooking an incredible opportunity to recreate and rebrand Triscuits. And I had told Kyle that I would have eaten a Triscuit had it been offered to me to say that I did. Okay, a Triscuit, a Trotskit. Can we go back? This is a serious story. Okay, there was an assassination by a Russian leader, which has never happened before.
More Triscuits.
What? Troskits?
No, like someone's been assassinated. More Triscuits.
This is a serious story. Okay, so yes, once again,
it's not anymore.
It's not anymore, and I feel terrible because Kyle was the one who relayed this to us. So Kyle, why don't you take over this block since you're so keen to stay on topic here?
I don't even know what we're talking about here. Who are
this was about the Ukrainian. This was about Andrei Yaruby.
Who?
The Ukrainian politician who was shot by a guy disguised as a courier riding an e-bike.
You mean the terrible murder?
Yes.
We'll censure Kyle for not doing his homework.
I am about to censure Kyle. He's making light of a terrible. It's genuinely terrible.
That's the term, Trotskits.
Kyle, what do you have to say for yourself? And please make it topical.
I literally am the one that brought this story forward.
You are.
I am the one that sent the story to the group list, and I'm ruining it. So part of me feels terrible for laughing while someone has died. And the other part of me is like, it's my story right now, damn it. I'll ruin it if I want to.
So let's have some commentary, Kyle. Let's hear some commentary.
So, the shooter fired 8 shots at close range, all to aim, at the heart effectively. Supposedly by the time anyone got to Parubi from the surrounding areas and the people who were on the streets and everything, he was already gone. So, this does not appear to be like a Luigi Mangioni's first time shooting a man. This appears to be like a professional assassination. This is a man who, caused a whole bunch of problems for Russia. And, I'm not saying it was Putin.
Ken is only making this worse because now I have hot rocket stuck in my head.
Tortskits. Hot Tortskits.
I think you misspelled it though. I think it's hot Trotsky.
So, as a reminder, Zelensky is not a tyrant who has canceled elections. That narrative is complete and utter bullshit. It comes directly from Russian state media. Zelensky has tried twice to convince the parliament of Ukraine to hold elections to remove him, and they have held their votes to say that the Constitution is, not to be overturned, and that he will stay in power thereby. Unanimously. He offered to step down. 100% of Parliament voted to not allow him to step down. So people can continue to call him a tyrant. It's just factually incorrect.
It's okay, Ken. I knew what you meant. I knew you meant rocket.
Also, Ken speaks German, so that OE is just like an O soft RRY, so it's basically spelled right.
Excellent. I love the idea that we are libertarians. We are very, very skeptical of all state media and all media narratives, except for the Russian media narratives. Those are fine. We believe what Russian state media say.
Well, we even had libertarians that claimed that the Wagner group, that their leader was killed by the CIA over Russia when his plane exploded after he had done the mutiny against Putin. So we've got libertarians that will just make up stuff on behalf of Russia.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they're doing great work for Russia right now.
And they're not even being paid. So
yeah.
Sad.
For free.
They call themselves capitalists.
Even Petro Poroshenko has come out to say that, the killing was a shot fired at the heart of Ukraine, which is absolutely horrific. It is in fact a horrible, terrible thing. It's, this is a war, and at the end of the day, Russia knows that from a manpower standpoint, from a tactics on the ground standpoint, and even from an equipment standpoint, they're losing. Does Russia have more men at the end of the day so they can waste more soldiers? Yes. So does that mean that Russia is losing? It depends on how far Putin can go before someone shoots him. But terroristic acts of assassinating people that have been important to Ukraine is an excellent way for a propaganda win of demoralization, right? If there are heroes in a country, and the country is saying that we are fighting with everyone to keep everyone safe as they can be while these Russians are coming in, and Russia can come in and just annihilate somebody, that's a big victory on this. There's a question about if we support the U.S. continuing to fund billions of dollars to Ukraine.
No, I don't support a U.S.-backed proxy war with Russia. So, to be clear, that is what has been going on for the past several years.
Russia has been attacking Ukraine consistently since Ukraine became a country in 1992. They started their first boots on the ground in Ukraine were in 1995.
Right. Two things can be true at once. Yes, Russia is the aggressor who invaded Ukraine. Also, the U.S. has a vested interest in either bringing Ukraine into NATO or having military bases there, and funding various bioweapons research and military research in Ukraine, and wanting to have an ally that's right on Russia's border, and playing a major role in causing this conflict.
I gotta say, if obviously I'm not in charge of the United States or anything.
Sure about that?
Sometimes.
Not yet.
the difference in positioning between Ukraine and Poland to me is pretty minor, considering Poland has done a much longer, much harder job of preparing to fuck Russia, right? I don't think there's another situation on earth that is like as vitriolic between two countries as Poland and Russia. And like Taiwan and China exist, North Korea and South Korea exist. Poland wants the excuse, right? Poland, like it, we had Polish refugees, oddly, in my high school, and they would talk about like that. There's nothing that would like give more honor to their family than being in a war with Russia and killing Russians. They were really intense about this. And Poland has been buying planes and munitions and everything for over half a century, closer to 75 years at this point, where like they have been stockpiling things so that if the Soviet Empire begins to rebuild and they start getting pulled back into this thing, that they are going to go to war. So it's, you know, I don't personally put a whole lot of weight on the U.S. wanting the Ukrainian position so much as, like, you know, the U.S. wants, as always, Russia to look bad. And so anybody who's fighting Russia, they want to win. We've seen it before where people who are very, very much, you know, not our allies, as if the U.S. should be having those sorts of alliances of going into wars that way. Where the U.S. is like, fuck it, we'll give terrorists weapons as long as they're killing Russians. So, you know, that's just how that goes. There's another question that's erroneous in the chat,
It's
and I
the
will
same person
respond
as
to it
truth,
quickly.
Kyle, and we don't have to respond to truth.
Do you think they are?
Oh yeah, it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the
truth
same
is
writing,
back.
it's the same tone.
Um,
Yeah, they just have a different name.
No, he doesn't
Okay.
like Austin, but also thinks Karen Ann should be investigated.
Yep.
He's playing both sides. I still want to know if that was the guy who joined our server a couple weeks ago.
Possibly. I like the trolls. They're fun. They keep things
Yeah.
entertaining.
That's why she keeps me around.
Exactly. Troll I can direct. We
That's
have
correct.
we have a story. I love that Rose sent this story in from the Daily Wire. I'm calling you out on this. Rose reading the Daily Wire
I
comes
saw
across
that,
this
but
story.
that was the first link that was shared in other groups that I was in, and I'm like, it's the Daily Wire, but whatever, I'll just share this because people will get the gist of what I'm trying to communicate.
Rose is still MC confirmed.
I swear, I don't read the Daily Wire.
Actually, Rose wrote this. This is her pen name, Mary Margaret Olahan, from the Daily Wire.
I'm actually Ben Shapiro. How'd you? I'm out. I've been outed.
Yeah, very good. Trump DOJ deliberates under gun ban for transgenders. I don't know how much teeth there is to it, but it feels like a very slippery slope, obviously. So,
Have you not looked at this one heavily?
I have because it's rewriting the. How you don't look? What? This is the business list, Kyle.
You said you don't know how much teeth it has. Like
in terms of its ability to stand, its ability to hold, not like whether the story itself is true.
They're trying to say that being trans is a mental illness.
Right.
And mental illness already means you can't.
I was
own a
getting
gun.
Right. This
Right.
is that every time there's a shooting, there'll be the people who they're desperate for somebody to blame. So there have been moves by people to declare that, or rather to make regulations that would make it so that anyone diagnosed with a mental illness would not be able to get a gun. Now, mental illness can mean anything from a psychotic disorder to being diagnosed with depression at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But now, it hasn't worked so far. Now they're trying to say that if you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, you should not be able to own a gun just because the person who carried out this most recent shooting may or may not have been trans. And this is how they're trying to get the right-wingers on board with gun control, because previously, most of them were at least smart enough to see through attempts to have mental illness disqualify people from owning a gun.
Well, the right has long actually been a proponent of the kind of at least some soft form of red flag laws. Whenever you see stuff come up, stuff like this come up, there's always a large contingent of the right that's like, oh, this has to do with the mental health crisis in America. It's mental illness. And so to be able to say, well, gender dysphoria is a mental illness. People with mental illnesses shouldn't own guns or go. Look, like most of the country has some kind of mental health diagnosis at this point. We all do. We're libertarians. I mean, it's an easy way. Yeah, it's an easy way to disarm your opposition.
This is a foot in the door towards regulating gun ownership out of existence. Okay, what's going to happen when experts decide that holding certain political views is symptomatic of a mental illness? But I think the best part of this is how this would work is if somebody has a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, they'd be barred from owning a gun. But okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, this individual who carried out the shooting didn't even have an official diagnosis and was not undergoing any type of medical transition. So this wouldn't have even prevented the shooting that sparked people to propose this ban.
Right.
It's just gonna unfairly punish people who are just trying to undergo medical transition and go about their lives and are not a threat to anybody. That's just going to punish them. So instead of getting professional, instead of going the medical route, people are instead going to avoid going to doctors. They're going to buy hormones on the black market. It's going to be all the same problems that prohibition always causes.
Terry has the proposal: restrict firearm ownership for transgender individuals by classifying gender dysphoria as a disqualifying mental illness under existing federal law, which prohibits those adjudicated as mentally defective from possessing guns. Mentally defective. I want that on a business card.
I want the right to actually try to defend gun control. I want to see that. So this obviously isn't going to go anywhere. I don't think any court's going to uphold this, and they know that. It's to turn Americans against one another, turn more people against transgenders, because they think that's what helps them politically. They've been doing this for close to 10 years now, where that's the targeted group that they want to target: transgenders. Mm-hmm. They can't target gay people anymore. That really doesn't work. They have to have someone to target and someone to deflect. It's also a way for them to now come out in favor of some form of gun control, which Donald Trump has always supported. You know, he wants to, in 2017, he said he wanted to take the guns first, due process later. He never changed his view on that. People were just stupid enough to think, oh, he's pro-gun because he said so. Mm-hmm. He says a lot of things. So, but I do want to see the right defend now that they support federal gun control. Background checks.
They always have.
They always have. But I just want to hear them actually say it this time.
They're getting close. I'd be careful what you wish for.
They're basically saying, oh, we've always supported restrictions on people who are mentally ill.
You know, at first it was, we need the guns to protect us from the evil government. And now it's, oh, here, government, take my guns. I'm not, you know.
They think it's not going to be turned against them. They're forgetting that just a couple years ago, there was all this moral panic about far-right extremism. Like, people have the memories of goldfish.
I'm just saying. They told us to worry about far-right extremism, and
they think they'll be the ones in charge and that this will never be turned against them. We went through this. Oh, how many times must people learn the same lessons? People thought that the Patriot Act wasn't going to be turned on the domestic population. Look how that worked out. Oh, it's just to go after terrorists. It is so frustrating.
So, as a mentioning of another show here, we did an interview with Spike Cohen last night during the Solidarity stream. And Spike mentioned the part, you know, there's a pretty solid theory of how the brain works, where there are thinkers and there are followers.
Is that a solid theory of the brain? I don't think that's a solid theory of the brain. I think that's a good mental heuristic.
No, there's a whole big psychological argument on this that goes back and forth every once in a while.
That people are genetically predisposed to be innovators and people are genetically predisposed to be followers.
No. Like, so let me get through my explanation before attacking you. It is more energy efficient to listen to other people who have done the thinking already.
That has been scientifically, you know, that has scientific backing, but not the whole let's classify people into thinkers and followers. That is okay. That was a different point.
That's exactly what I was saying.
You didn't. You said there'd been research showing that there are thinkers and there are followers. There've been a bunch of studies, but that was a different point to the
It wasn't a different point.
heuristic.
Anyway, literally was. But anyway, and so like people get an idea and they assume that idea is correct until it is, overwhelmingly disproven. And similarly, people come up with an idea and believe that idea until it's overwhelmingly disproven. And so you have people who have gotten in their head Trump good, and nothing can take them out of that short of like Trump walking up and shooting their mother. And
She probably deserved it.
right.
Well, they
Especially if she's on
go
10th
through all this. Yeah, they go through all this cognitive dissonance. They're like, well, even if they see Trump going back on everything he promised, they'll be like, well, he's still better than Kamala. People, yeah, they're coping. They do not want
Kamala,
to.
she would have shot your mother and your father.
Yeah, exactly.
She probably would have prosecuted them for smoking weed. That's true.
Only if they were black.
Fair. She would have laughed about it.
And then she'd laugh if you asked her if she ever smoked it herself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, doing the clapping. Hillary Clinton also had like a weird clap laugh, as I recall. I've tried to forget that.
Yeah, they both do that weird cackle.
Yeah,
Because it's a requirement to be a female politician.
It's very strange. Yeah, that's why I recommend not laughing ever. Yes, we also have, at the same time, there are some factions of MAGA that seem to be splintering. There was this week a press conference with victims of Jeffrey Epstein. And of course, Thomas Massie has called for the release of those Epstein files, joining forces with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace. Guys, what's happening to the Trump,
It's not common for me to be agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but yeah, she's been, it could all just be posturing. I will believe it when I see it, but yeah, she has had the correct public statements, at least, on releasing the Epstein files. She's not claiming that it's a Democrat hoax or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Nancy Mace, she's insane, but she is a victim of sexual assault, from what I understand. Like, she was in apparently the recent meeting with the victims, and yeah, left the room obviously emotional. So hopefully, despite being a hardcore Trump supporter, she would also vote in favor of doing the right thing.
Oh boy, we have a Trumper in the chat.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is crazy, but she actually believes the stuff that she says. I believe she is principled.
Mm-hmm.
Now, her views are out there, but I believe that she is actually principled on what she believes, even if it makes no sense to anyone else.
So yeah, I agree with that. Trump ran on releasing the Epstein files. There were a lot of people who backed him on that. All of a sudden, there are no Epstein files, or there are now.
They're on Pam Bondi's desk.
Now.
They are also made up by Obama, and Kash Patel says they don't exist. So it just depends on who you ask.
They're on the desk that doesn't exist.
Also, why do you care so much? God, I'm muting the word Epstein on social media, I swear. Why do you guys care so much about this?
It is
it's not like
he stole employees from Donald Trump.
It's interesting because this would be the kind of thing that, again, Donald Trump ran on this. It's the sort of thing that, if there were any reason to do it at all in terms of political expedience, he would. It seems like an incredibly politically expedient thing to do, to release these, and yet he's not, which does look very strange. It's sort of like the equivalent of it's much, it's a very, very different situation, but it reminds me of the whole, with the COVID vaccines, and we're not going to tell you anything about it, but you definitely need to take it. It's that kind of vibe. It just gives you things that are going to make you not get COVID. The same thing with the Epstein files. They're not there. They're not there, but if they were there, they would be made up. But if they were made up, they would be against Trump. But they also contain names of Democrats. And so that's important, and you need to know that. But they're also not there.
And we also had Trump's
They would
former
cause
personal
the
attorney go to the
downfall.
prison and release Maxwell to some country club prison. So
right.
They would cause the downfall of our civilization, but also only the other party is on them. So it doesn't matter. Okay, all those people you think are on them, they're on them. Nobody
Right.
else. But
All
also
of the
they don't
Democrats are on them, and then also all of the Republicans and the Democrats are talking, and all of the Democrats, the Republicans are. All the Libertarians are on it. All the Green Party people are on it. The Communists, the Capitalists, they're all on it. Everyone is on the Epstein list. At this point, they're just like editing. They're writing in more and more names just to implicate literally everyone. Yeah. What does this mean? Does this portion of the MAGA base that's upset about this get beyond it if they're not released? Do they just like give up with their memories of the goldfish? And
what was the question?
I said, does this portion of the MAGA base that's calling for this release, do they get beyond it if they're not released? Like, do they just go back to backing Trump anyhow because it's too important?
It depends on what type of psyops they manage to pull off in the coming months. People were legitimately angry and calling Trump out and saying they were going to walk away from the MAGA movement when Trump said that they don't exist and that they weren't going to be released. However, that didn't last. They tried a few of their usual distractions. Those didn't seem to be working. The flag burning, or the proposed flag burning ban, actually really seemed to bring out the bootlickers, the people who call themselves patriots, and successfully got everybody arguing on the internet again and got people to go back to taking their sides again.
And I can very easily see that, Trump didn't release the Epstein files, but that was Trump, and now we have JD Vance, and this is the most important election of our lifetime anyway. So we need to band together and unify.
It'll be one of those things that the Republican Party uses to fundraise for the next decade.
Exactly.
Releasing the Epstein files.
I mean, weirdly, yeah, I'm sure there'll be many people who just forget that Trump was supposed to do it and didn't do it.
now JJ's got some news right there in the chat.
That he was in the DC Madam's address book. I don't know whether that's correct or not, or that's true or not, but that's a hell of a story.
I don't know, Kyle. Why are you such a fascist? Why do you keep banning this base truth tag?
How does he think he's talking if he's banned?
So, further thoughts on how this plays out with the Epstein list, with the calling to the is this the beginning of a strange new friendship between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie?
No.
No. You sure? They can go to CrossFit together.
The problem is, MTG is one of the stupidest, craziest people on this planet. She is convinced, like literally convinced. I've listened to this woman speak as a Georgian. In person, I mean, about Spike Cohen's former people having lasers to shoot down upon the people in space, the Jewish space lasers. It just, she's fucking insane.
But there's a truth seeker asking if Jewish space lasers, is that anti-Semitic? Or is that just she's really crazy?
Curiosity. It's just asking questions. I think I'm sure she was referring to like some kind of military technology, and it turned into space lasers.
She got confused with an old episode of Star Trek, and
yeah.
It all happens to all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I pulled up a list of Trump's promises for the second term, and there's a shitload.
Oh, great, good.
Modernize and build electric grid systems. He has literally banned import of major technologies, instead trying to push us back to fossil fuels. Not working. Create a victims compensation fund for migrant crime from seized gang assets. 93% of the people that are being exported have never committed a crime. So where's their funds? Count all votes on election night. That's a stupid promise when you're not even the president. Sign a bill revisiting Section 230 for
Go
tech
back in time.
platforms. Hasn't happened. Hasn't been talked about
Well,
again.
they had a super majority back in like 2016 to 2018. They were supposed to revisit Section 230. They never did. Now, again, it's going to be one of those things they just perpetually fundraise off of.
Yeah. Ban federal workers from taking jobs at companies they regulated. Ironic, since that's his entire cabinet. Cut the federal budget every year. Largest increase in history. Mandate that any child identity changes have parental consent. He just literally tried to executive order banning it. Require only paper ballots. Yes, because paper ballots are never stolen or never problematic. And there's no such thing as like hanging chads. It's like you literally have to be someone who wasn't conscious 25 years ago to think that paper ballots are magically perfect.
Okay. If I believe that the election system actually did anything, I might push for things like paper ballots, hand counted with cameras zoomed in on every single person counting them, and no like voting machines with proprietary software. But at the end of the day, like, since I don't believe it actually does much, if anything at all, like, it's not a hill I'm going to die on.
Require voter ID at the polls. It's he is pushing for real ID. That's how he's gonna get it done. Don't you want a national ID?
No.
Well, yeah, we're going to have one that way they don't deport us.
Yeah.
Whenever they come and ask for paper, when the National Guard comes up and asks you for your papers, please.
The 70 Americans so far that have been deported this year, I guess their IDs just didn't count.
They don't have a real ID.
Yeah.
Increased liability protections for police officers.
Unions! Police unions!
Impose the death penalty for selling drugs. Seek the death penalty for child rapists and child traffickers. He's going to kill himself, y'all. He said so. Incentivize abolishing teacher tenure for grades K through 12.
I thought we were getting rid of the Department of Education.
That's on here, too.
That
Provide
was one of the things that our previous chair negotiated in exchange for all supporting.
He's going to create jobs at the Department of Education, guys. He's going to create a bunch of government jobs. It's going to be great. That's what you don't understand.
He's going to simultaneously abolish it, but also create jobs in it.
Provide
a newer, better one.
Provide $10,000 per child tax-free to homeschoolers. Where's that money coming from? I guess the tariffs. No new taxes, though. Reduce prices for groceries, cars, and other consumer items. The dollar this year is down 50% relative to gold. That's how bad the economy is doing. Your money is half of what it was in January. Worst president ever. End veteran homelessness. Cut the VA rights. Create tent cities to address homelessness. Made them illegal. Leave Social Security and Medicare unchanged. Literally made it worse. And then gave more money away out of it. Create deregulated freedom cities on federal land. That plan's gone. Adopt a 4-year plan to phase out Chinese imports. 4 years to replace all of China. Good plan, Trump. How's that going? Oh, right. The dollar's down 50%. Give green cards to people on student visas who graduate from U.S. colleges. Instead, we're kicking them out. Cut energy costs by 50% in the first year. They're up 50% in the first year. Hell yeah! Not support a federal abortion ban. Okay. Which he's already talked about how he kind of wants to support one. Pardon people convicted of January 6th. He did one thing. Are we Biden supporters because of disliking Trump?
Imagine
no, but Biden wasn't as big of a moron as Donald Trump, so I will tell you that. But I still don't support him. He was
Imagine being a libertarian and hearing someone critique one of the major parties and thinking that because of that they must support the other major party.
Right. It's like you walk outside and on one side there's cat shit and on one side there's dog shit and you're like, that is dog shit. And someone's like, so you like cat shit? No, they're both piles of shit.
I think Alcoholics Anonymous over there needs to take a 13th step down off his high horse.
Restore Remain in Mexico.
It's always fun though, because like Normies will hear you criticizing one person, so they'll try to offend you by criticizing the other team, and then
And I'm
you
like,
can
yeah,
see
that's
them.
I too. That's fantastic. Go.
You can see them short circuit. So then usually what happens is they just continue on as if you still support the team that they insulted, because they do not know where to go from there. You can seriously disrupt NPC programming that way.
Yes, I agree. Biden is and was a blithering idiot. Great, common ground. Terry reminds us federal land is open for use if he does the housing emergency. That is true.
Terry also had another good point that getting rid of the Department of Education has been a freaking joke, as all they've done is move stuff around. They've been cutting the Department of Education, but giving its responsibilities to other organizations.
Yeah.
That's not cutting it, guys.
It's cutting and pasting. It's cutting and pasting.
No, man, this is a 4-year-old's idea of eating all the food on his plate. This is where he has spread those peas out everywhere on the plate and is like, look, I ate my peas. Like, that's what's going on here.
I ate my biscuits.
Leave the Paris Climate Accord again. It's a voluntary motion on how you handle your own shit. Who cares? Eliminate federal goals for electric cars. But remember, he wants to increase electric availability. Sign law recognizing 2 genders assigned at birth. He did not sign a law. He made an executive order. Withdraw from the WHO. End offshore wind energy development. Let's go back down here. Doesn't he say modernize and build electric grid systems?
Just not offshore. Makes sense.
Not offshore. It's one of the cheapest, most reliable, most abundant energy sources. And his dumbass is like, but what if it ends ocean currents? What if it ends ocean currents? The problem there, I don't know if y'all have noticed, the ocean's real big. And it weighs a lot. And it's powered by the fucking planet going around the sun. The idea that you're going to end currents by taking minuscule, order of magnitude wise, amounts of energy from the ocean is nonsense. Nonsense. If anyone actually cares, ask me later. I'll do the math for you to give you an idea of how many orders of magnitude off this.
This is also, it comes from a guy who thinks he can turn a faucet on in Canada and that it just runs down and puts out wildfires in California. So
it's also from a guy who thinks that he can turn a faucet on in Alaska and it's actually in Russia. Water is flowing in Russia.
Well, you know, the Alaska summit had to happen in Alaska because that's neutral ground.
Yeah.
Let's see.
How many promises did this man make? I genuinely, like, you're rehashing his speech at the Libertarian National Convention. It's kind of absurd.
Shit, I just scrolled it. There are another 45.
Wait, we're at time, my guy.
Yeah. I just didn't realize there were 45 more. I was just trying to speed through them. But
if you're new to this, there are a lot there.
Yes. Guys, thank you for joining us yet again for the business list. We will be back. We don't have anything on this weekend, do we? We are doing so many things that I can't remember what we're doing. I do not think we will be back this weekend. Instead, we will be back. Wait, there is a meeting on the 7th. Just kidding. We will be streaming Libertarian National Committee meeting on Sunday the 7th. We will be streaming there with your comments and ours. We will have our Solidarity stream with Tim Krenz on Wednesday the 10th. Thursday, once again, join us for the business list. Have a wonderful week. We will see you on Sunday. And until then, we are the business list. We're gonna say anarchy. And we're gonna say anarchy. Full transparency. Now I wanna say anarchists on the business list.